Another betrayal? Trump accepts Xi Jinping's invitation. Putin is waiting. Where did the American money go? Trump stirs up a scandal. The countdown has begun. The US and UK set a tough deadline for Putin. I'll tell you all the details in a moment. Greetings, this is Ukraine Today. I am Victoria Panchenko, and recent events. Trump and Putin will meet in China. At least the US president does not rule out such a possibility. During a meeting with the president of the Philippines at the White House, Donald Trump stated that he had received an invitation from Xi to visit China. He said that he would likely accept this offer in the near future, promising to make a decision soon.
As for President Trump, the Kremlin said yesterday, if you go to Beijing in September, they do not rule out a meeting between you and President Putin. Is such a meeting possible? And how soon do you plan to visit China? Well, we have a lot of possible meetings. President Xi has invited me to China, and we will probably do that soon. A little later, but not too far off. I've been invited by many people, and we will make those decisions soon.
Notably, the head of the White House suggested that not all the funds allocated by Joe Biden were used as intended. At the same time, the American president noted that Ukrainians are bravely defending themselves and will be able to continue doing so thanks to the fact that NATO countries are now purchasing American weapons.
And I am very proud that with NATO, the European, and if you look at it, European countries will essentially be buying our equipment, paying full price, and then distributing it wherever they want, whether that's to Ukraine or somewhere else. But they are the ones buying it, so we won't be spending money on giving it away. Yes, Biden gave away equipment or cash worth $350 billion. Worse than equipment, cash. So someday we want to find out about that, right? But they were supposed to buy their own equipment, although, I have a feeling that not every dollar went toward equipment. But they are brave. Look, they're fighting a tough battle, and we're not going to do that anymore. Our big companies make the best military equipment in the world, and now they'll be selling it, and those people will use it, even those who are against the war like me. They say, wow, that's not bad. That's pretty good. So they'll be able to defend themselves. We won't be paying for it anymore. And I think that's very important.
By the way, the French foreign minister believes that Trump has chosen his side and decided to support Ukraine. Since taking office, Donald Trump has multiplied his statements regarding support for Ukraine, said Jean-Noël Barrot. For Barrot, the clearest sign that Trump has taken Ukraine's side is his intention to impose 100% trade tariffs against Russia's partners.
After Trump's return to the White House, we saw a change in the United States' approach having to deal with Trump, who can change his mind from day to day. Trump gave Putin 50 days to implement a ceasefire. Otherwise, there would be tough sanctions and 100% tariffs on Russia and its partners. He is also ready to supply weapons to Ukraine. This is a clear signal that he has chosen a side and supports Ukraine in order to achieve its goal of lasting peace. Do you believe that the sanctions promised by Trump will actually be imposed in 50 days if Russia does not implement a ceasefire? We have been working with American senators for weeks. They have developed a sanctions package similar to our European one. It is very deterrent and is meant to force Putin to ceasefire. I very much hope that this American sanctions package, which is supported by almost all senators, will be adopted as soon as possible. Last question, Mr. Minister, briefly. Does Ukraine currently have the means to win this war on the battlefield? It has the power of arms, and that is the main thing. In this war, Putin is primarily trying to break the morale of Ukrainians.
However, the likelihood that Trump will impose new sanctions against Russia is 50%. This was stated by American diplomat John Edward Herbst. According to him, if Trump does not introduce additional restrictions against the aggressor country, it will become a political problem for him both within the United States and on the international stage. Therefore, he will not be able to easily avoid taking the step.
I'm not convinced of that, but I think it's quite possible. If Trump let this deadline pass without using these sanctions, it would be a problem for him, a political problem, a problem on the world stage. That's why he can't easily do that. That's why I think it's quite possible, maybe even a 50% chance, that Trump is planning to impose exactly these kinds of sanctions.
Notably, the US Treasury Secretary has called on Europeans to join in secondary sanctions against the purchase of Russian oil if Trump implements them. Scott Bessent stated that his department is working on a plan to introduce secondary tariffs of 100% against those countries that purchase Russian oil if Putin does not agree to peace with Ukraine.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
The president seems to be pessimistic about the prospects for progress between Russia and Ukraine. Are we now in a position to... Is there a plan for sanctions against Russia? When could this happen? This will happen soon, and you are involved in it. Well, the Treasury is in charge of financial sanctions. Our OFAC division handles this, but Joe, in my opinion, what's revolutionary is that the Senate, I'd say 80 to 90 senators, want to pass a sanctions bill. Trump changed the paradigm because the law includes a term of 10, 30, or 50 days during which countries buying sanctioned Russian oil are subject to up to 100% secondary tariffs. Now the US Senate agrees with Trump that tariffs are a tool for achieving political goals. This is revolutionary. Trump changed the conversation, and I urge our European allies who have talked a lot to follow our lead if we impose these secondary tariffs.
At the same time, the United Kingdom is initiating a 50-day campaign to arm Ukraine. This was reported by Bloomberg. While Donald Trump has given Russia a 50-day deadline to reach a peace agreement in Ukraine, London and Berlin are aiming to arm Kyiv within this period in order to bring Putin to the negotiating table. In particular, there are plans to provide Ukraine with new air defense systems. Moreover, over the past 2 months, the United Kingdom has allocated $201 million for air defense and artillery for Ukraine. It is expected that Germany will allocate the same amount. These funds will be used to purchase additional ammunition. Another sensational statement was made by the spokesperson for the US State Department. Commenting on the issue that Russia is not showing any willingness to agree to the ceasefire proposed by the American president, Tammy Bruce stated that the time allotted by Trump could run out sooner.
When the president sets a time window, it can happen at any moment within that period. We have already seen this before. At the same time, if real negotiations are underway, everything can change quickly. The day the window is set can change in 2 days because of negotiations. So it's never static. For most of us, a plan is usually static. We have a schedule, and we've chosen this day for an appointment next month. That's not the case here. These are the opportunities the president talks about, which are an important part of his leadership. The person we're speaking with needs to know there are options, but that's not the only thing he's considering. This isn't the only important dynamic. We've seen him give chances before and act quickly. That's why it's important. Well, he knows. He has often said that he is dissatisfied with the events and the choices Russia is making.
At the same time, the Speaker of the US House of Representatives, Johnson, stated that the fighting in Ukraine has gone on for too long and the number of casualties continues to rise. At the same time, Johnson expressed support for the idea of restoring order by force and emphasized that the US seeks peace.
This has been going on for too long. Too many innocent people are dying, and we absolutely do not want further American involvement in this. But I think that what NATO and our allies around the world are doing can be effective. I think we're all already tired of this and hope it will end soon. We trust the commander-in-chief. He is restoring peace through force.
However, for the first time, the US has called Russia a proxy of China, and Beijing as jointly responsible for the killings in Ukraine.
China believes it is waging a proxy war through Russia. In statements from the Chinese government, we see that they want to distract the United States and its allies with this war so that we don't focus on other strategic challenges. But that's not true. That won't happen. I think China has miscalculated. They should be condemned for financing the killings taking place on the battlefields in Ukraine.
That's all the news for now. We look forward to your comments. More to come. Stay updated on the main events and don't forget to like the video. Wishing you peaceful skies above.